Any injury updates coming out of last night?
Just your typical bumps and bruises. Rob got his knee a little bit, but shouldn't affect his game status. And then Nick Scott with his shoulder had a little kind of cuff injury, but both of those guys should be good to go. And, really those guys have been, warriors for us this year.
What will be your message to the team going into a final week here? I mean, obviously not where you guys hope to be, but how do you finish this off in terms of a final week message?
Yeah, I think what you do is you continue to compete to the best of your ability. Let's try to have a good week of preparation and see if we can put together a good plan, a good week of prep, and go play the best that we're capable of against Seattle. And obviously, if you're able to finish on a good positive note, that would be reflective of the resilience and just kind of the character of this football team. But one of the things I'm proud of, Gary, is in spite of everything that we've been through, these guys continue to compete. They continue to show up day in and day out. And that's made what's been an incredibly challenging year for me a lot easier because of the resilience that they've demonstrated. And, I'll forever be grateful for this group. And sometimes the best learning lessons can come in these types of seasons that, we've never been through. And you learn a lot about, like I've said over and over again, yourself and the people that you're around. And I've learned a lot of really good things about these players.
Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Sarah?
Sean, is there anyone that you expect to get back for this week?
No.
Okay. And then when you were talking about Cam yesterday, you mentioned Thomas Brown. Just curious what you think about why you think that he has been so effective, especially working with Cam these last few weeks.
I think he's a great coach. I think, the best coaches help bring out the best in their players and have different ways of understanding how to connect, while still consistently being, who you are day in and day out, but being able to adjust and or adapt, the way that you're able to connect and relate to these players to help elevate their game to the levels that they're capable of. And, I think Cam would be able to probably tell you better than me, but I know that I've always had a real appreciation for what Thomas brings to the table as a person and as a coach. And, Cam deserves a ton of credit for the way that he's played, but I don't think Cam would deny the fact that certainly Thomas's influence on him has helped him play at such a high level while not taking away any of the credit that Cam deserves.
Do you think Thomas is a guy that eventually you could see as a head coach in the future?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Gilbert?
Hey, Sean, we often ask the players this season, the adversity they went through, does that motivate them from next year? How about for yourself as a competitor? How much do you use this year as fuel for next year?
I think everything kind of motivates you, as you just continue to move from day to day. And that's where I'm focused on, trying to do the best that I can within the framework of my role. And that's how I'll approach every day.
Thank you, Sean.
You're welcome.
Gordon?
Hey, Sean, you've talked a lot in the last couple of weeks about how inspired by a lot of your players you were this year, especially when times got tough. Was there a moment this season that you solicited extra feedback from them?
Yeah, I think you try to always connect. There's not one that necessarily stands out. I think it's just trying to consistently have a good pulse, and a temperature for the dynamics of the team and what is needed and where it's needed from your end. Or if you say sometimes stepping back and letting, the players take control is the best thing that you can do. And like anything else, not exclusive to this year, but, as you're continuing to accumulate experience in different roles and responsibilities and different things that you navigate through in a leadership role, you're always trying to learn, you're always trying to grow. And certainly there's lessons that I'll take, moving forward, from really every day of this year. And there's not one in particular that stands out though.
And then a little bit of a pivot, but in terms of some of the younger guys who played for you this year on the offensive line and maybe people you even met for the first time, is there anybody who you are kind of excited about continuing to see how they develop, who really could have a role in this group?
Yeah, a lot of our younger players unfortunately got injured, and so I couldn't be more impressed with just when you look at guys that we had no prior experience with, whether that be Matt Skura, Ode Abuche, Ty and Seki, how quickly they've come in. Coleman Shelton is a guy that's continued to battle and do a great job. Obviously, we know what a continuous and consistent player that Rob has been over the last handful of years for us. But, there's guys I'm excited about. I'm really bummed that Tremaine Ankrum didn't get an opportunity to play a little bit more, but there's a long list of those players that I could go through, Jordan. And unfortunately, a lot of those linemen that you're talking about, none of them really have much youth that are playing for us right now. AJ Akiri is a guy that I thought did a good job with the opportunity that he had against Kansas City, in a really tough, hostile environment. But most of our young guys, unfortunately, are on IR and got injured.
And then kind of correlating to that and a little bit of some continuity, general relative continuity to what you were experiencing at the beginning of the year. Do you feel like you guys have that continuity, and you're more of an expert on this than I think the casual person is, but do you think that combined with some of the consistency you've had at the running back position, do you think you guys have been able to do more diverse things in the run game, and kind of what does that look like, and how have you guys done that?
Yeah, I think you've seen it. There's definitely been some things that we've been able to activate that maybe, we've always kind of had in the arsenal, but you're seeing a little bit more of an emphasis on it. And I think it's helped us. I think, with the way that Cam's played, you certainly want to be able to, adjust things to what you feel best about with him, but not only him, but the other guys. There's a lot of things that we've done that we've had as a staple of our identity over the last handful of years that it really isn't applicable because you don't have a lot of those guys that are playing right now. And so you have to be able to adjust and adapt. It's never been something that has been quite so drastic in the midst of a season from a week to week perspective. But I do think, especially over the last few weeks, there's been some real positives. If you're trying to pull out some good things in regards to just a little bit more versatility. And I think, obviously Cam has definitely done a good job of creating some things on his own as well.
Thanks, Sean.
You're welcome. All right.
I'm sorry, Coach. Maria?
Hey, Sean, with every season being so vastly different, when you look back to last year and what you went through, some of the adversity, obviously making it to the Super Bowl, and from a coaching perspective, what do you think you learned the most that you carry through with you through this season to kind of give you a different perspective?
I think what I used to refer to as adversity is a very different thing now. I mean, 7-1 and then being at 7-4 as the biggest adversity faced last year sure seems like some adversity that I would love. So I think it's more than anything, Maria, it's about accumulating all these different experiences to try to shape yourself in a way that keeps you grounded, keeps you with the appropriate perspective to be consistent day in and day out. But, there's nothing like what this year would be to compare to any other year. And that's why you truly understand more than ever that every single year is a brand new year. You're forced to learn and grow. And certainly this year, there's been an incredible amount of takeaways that you'll use to try to make sure that, you have, I don't know if the better support, it's just more about being able to kind of envision the possible things that could occur that maybe I was naive to in the previous 5 years.
Do you feel like you're the kind of person that needs time off to sort of think about things, or are you excited to just dive back in and start working right away?
That's a good question. I think kind of similar to the sentiment that I've echoed earlier in the conversation today. I'm really just trying to do a good job of being present. We talk about that, and let's finish up this week the right way, do a great job, trying to, help these guys play at their best Sunday at Lumen Field, and then we'll deal with the rest after that.